Hi, this is Deborah from Dinglefoot Scrapbooking, and I have an easy everyday card to show you this week. So I have a kind of a dark beige cardstock, and I have a piece of white to go on the front, and this is just cut small enough that I have a nice edge around my paper. And then I have a piece of an old-fashioned rose print, and this is the type of paper you can get from Graphic 45 or companies that make similar papers. So I have that's just as tall as the white piece and probably about 3 inches wide. So I have that piece. And then I have this very large postage stamp. You could use a square, anything that you have. This is 3 inches, and I actually cut it on the Cricut from Elegant Edges. So I have a nice big large one. I have a butterfly stamp and a little greeting. This just says on it, just a note. So I'm going to be stamping those with a dark pink ink, I guess a magenta color. And I'll be doing the edges of the postage stamp and the white piece with this same ink, and I'm going to use my Ranger ink applicator to put that on. And then I have a double bow, and if you've been following along or if you want to look on my channel, I do have a video on how to make a double bow like this. It's really simple. It doesn't look like it, but it really is. So I can put a link for that so you can find it. And then just for an extra little touch, I took a piece of twine, and it was too big to go through the eye of this needle, and this is the largest needle I have. So I took twine and I just pulled it apart into 2 pieces so it was thin enough to go through that eye. Otherwise you could use craft string or a very thin yarn, whatever you have. So I'm going to be using that. So first of all, I'm going to take my ink applicator tool and just push it into that ink pad really well. And I'm just going to take that, just go around the edges of my postage stamp. And this is just to make the edges more defined. And I think I'm going to take my white piece here and just do that edge too, just a real thin edge all the way around. Set that aside, and then I'm going to take my butterfly stamp and ink that up really well, and I'm just going to stamp that on the left side of my postage stamp right up here. So press that down really well. And I'll take that stamp off, and I'm going to do my greeting. So all our stamping will be done right away. And I'm just going to put that on the bottom right. Okay, easy as that. We have a little tag made for our project. So I can set all that aside. And now I'm going to take my piece of rose print paper, and I'm just going to set that slightly to the right side. You could put it in the middle or whatever suits you. So I'm going to grab my permanent glue stick here. And we're just going to set that right on top of the white piece. And then I'm going to take this tag, and we're going to do the sewing before we ever finish the rest of the card, because I want all of the sewing and everything to be on this part of my card instead of on the inside. You could sew it to the whole thing, but then you'll always have an unfinished inside of your card. So I actually might just take a little spot of glue and put this on the back. I don't really want this to be stuck permanently, but it doesn't matter if it is either. So whatever way you want to do to hold it in place so that it will stay where you want it while you're doing the sewing. So I'm going to set mine right like that. And then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to mark. These little indents here are just a great place to put my stitches. And if you only want to do a few stitches or a whole bunch, I actually might just do 3. So before I start doing any sewing or anything, I'm going to take my needle. And I forgot, I need to make another stitch right here. We're just going to make 3 straight stitches and that's it. I'm going to poke all those holes through with my needle. Okay. And I did tie a tiny little knot in the end of my string here. So I'm just going to stick this through. Just really simple sewing. And this is going to allow there to be some movement in our tag because it's not glued down anywhere permanently. Okay, last one. And you could go the whole way across this tag if you want to. Just whatever suits you. So then I'm going to just tie this off on the back. We'll just go around and make us a little knot here. And take our scissors, cut that. And now this whole thing here is going to go on the front of my card. So I think I'm going to use some Zots just because that twine is sticking up a bit. But I think it would stick flat too if you just use score tape or something and put it right on top of the twine. But just so that we don't have a bumpy part on there, I'll just grab some Zots and use those. Can't grab the plastic on that one. Okay, I'm going to put one in the middle too so that doesn't indent when it's on my card. Sometimes if you only put adhesive right on the edges, then when you put this on the front, the middle of your cardstock sticks down and it looks a little bit funny. So I'm just going to place this right there. And my final touch is just going to be a bow. And I'm trying to decide where I want it. I think I'll just stick it right to the edge there. So I'm going to grab another Zot. You can use hot glue. Hot glue works wonderfully for any kind of ribbon. So I'm just going to put that right on there. And this card is finished. Thanks so much for watching.